Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Profile Progressive Physics Learning. In this video, I am comparing 2023 NEET paper with NCERT. Generally, NEET exam students will concentrate on NCERT only for botany and zoology, but physics application part they will depend on different books. Basically, we have to complete all the models which are given in NCERT. We'll check its importance. Just look at this question. So a question was given like this: a series LCR circuit, the inductance is given and capacitance is given. They're asking us to find what is resonant frequency. Resonant frequency formula is, we'll observe only when the circuit is at resonance means capacitive reactance must match with inductive reactance. Omega L is equal to 1 by omega C, or omega is equal to 1 by root LC, or from this 2 pi f naught is equal to 1 by root LC, or f naught will be equal to 1 by 2 pi into 1 by square root of LC. In this question, inductance is given as 10 millihenry and capacitance is given as 1 microfarad. So that L into C will be 10 to the power of minus 8 and root LC will be 10 to the power of minus 4. 1 by root LC, that is equivalent to 10 to the power of 4. So that this will be, I can write like this, 10 into 10 cube by 2 pi. So the closest answer will be 1.59 kilohertz. So the same kind of question is there in NCERT also. So you can check the solution and you can solve that corresponding question on your own. And look at this question. This is from kinetic theory of gases. So this is based on RMS velocity or RMS speed, VRMS. This is in NCERT line. VRMS is directly proportional to root T. But here the interesting term was given like this: RMS speed is increased by 3 times, so that if original velocity is V, then that final velocity will be increased by 3 times, means V plus 3V, that is 4V. So now as we are having like this, VRMS is directly proportional to root T. V2 by V1 will be equal to square root of T2 by T1, or T2 by T1 will be equal to V2 by V1 whole square, or that is 4 square, which is 16. So T2 is equal to 16 times T1. But don't forget, here we have to convert this degree centigrade to Kelvin. Minus 50 plus 273, that will be minus plus 223 Kelvin. So that this will be equal to 16 into 223, that will be 3568 Kelvin. But none of the options matches. We have to convert this into degree centigrade, so that this will be equivalent to 3295 degrees centigrade. So if you know this formula, or if you are well aware of this NCERT formula, then you can solve this question. Similarly, look at this next question. A bullet is fired from a gun at a speed of 280 meters per second. So speed is given as 280 meters per second. and angle of projection is given as 30 degrees. They are asking maximum height attained by the bullet. So maximum height formula is u square sine square theta by 2g. Here this will be u square, means I can write 280 into 280 sine square theta. Sine 30 value is given as 0.5, which I can write as, which we can write as 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 by 2 into 9.8. So if we solve this, this will lead to 1000 meters. This is maximum height. So that the same question, just look at this. This question was improvised from this NCERT example like this. A ball is projected with a speed and a direction 30 degrees above the horizontal. So we are having maximum height, time of flight, as well as distance from the thrown point to where the ball returns to the same level, means that is range. In the last case, they are indirectly asking to find range. So this kind of questions you can expect from motion in a plane chapter. Now, this is a question from semiconductor devices. Semiconductor devices. So, photovoltaic device can convert optical radiation into electricity. So that this is just a direct statement from NCERT. Look at the statement: photovoltaic device which converts optical radiation into electricity. So that statement 1 is true. And of course, Zener diode is a special purpose of semiconductor diode named after inverter C. Zener. It is designed to operate under reverse bias in breakdown region. Okay, so if you know NCERT, both the NCERT lines, we can say statement, both the statements are correct. So option 4 is the right choice. And look at this. This is from our units and dimensions error analysis. So the error in the measurement which arises due to unpredictable fluctuations in temperature and voltage supply are. So look at this. Random errors definition was given. Unpredictable fluctuations in experimental conditions, that is temperature, voltage supply, or mechanical vibrations of experimental setups, etc. So this is from error analysis subtopic. Error analysis subtopic in units and dimensions and error analysis. So there, this is an direct NCERT line, so that you can mark this as, if you know that point from NCERT, then you can mark that option as random errors. So now these two formulae for open organ pipe and closed organ pipe directly from NCERT. So their fundamental frequencies, open pipe to that of closed pipe ratio they asked. So V1 by V2 will be equal to, that is nu by 2L by nu by 4L. So that this nu gets cancelled, LL gets cancelled, will get 2 is to 1. And now the net magnetic flux through any closed surface. So this is from magnetism and matter chapter. As we know, magnetic monopole never exists. So if any closed surface is there, always magnet exists in form of dipoles. So north pole will be there, south pole will be there. So magnetic field lines originating from north pole, definitely they will terminate at south pole. So we can say like this: number of field lines leaving the surface must be equal to number of field lines entering the surface, and hence net flux through the surface is 0. This is not true in the case of electric flux, because charges are not dipoles always. So this is from our wave optics chapter. In this wave optics chapter, we are having one example. This question is framed directly from this example. So we are having this formula for maxima condition d sin theta is equal to n lambda, or for small angle approximation d into theta is equal to n lambda, or theta is equal to n lambda by d. So this is called as angular separation of fringes. If n is equal to 1, will just this formula becomes lambda by d. So this is formula for angular separation of fringes, so that if the screen is moved away, so screen to slits distance will represent with capital D, and here small d is slit separation. So slit separation is fixed, and wavelength is also fixed. The only parameter changing is distance between slits and screen, so which will not affect the angular separation. So that statement 1 is correct. Now if the monochromatic source is replaced by another monochromatic source of larger wavelength, so as we are having theta is equal to lambda by d, if wavelength is increased, then angular separation of the fringes decreases. That is wrong statement. So statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false, because angular separation depends on wavelength as directly proportional to, and slit separation is inversely proportional to, independent of slits to screen distance. Okay, so now the next question is like this. An AC source is connected to a capacitor due to decrease in its operating frequency. Okay, then they are asking about displacement current. So displacement current is nothing but from our Ohm's law V by resistance offered by the device. Here that will be capacitive reactance, and capacitive reactance depends on frequency as Xc is equal to 1 by omega c. So I can write that over here, so that this becomes omega c into V. So if the frequency is decreased, then automatically displacement current will decrease. So the same example was there over here. A 15 microfarad capacitor is connected to a 220 volts 50 Hz source. Find the capacitive reactance, so that you can use this formula, and current in the circuit, you can use this formula. Then the frequency is doubled. What happens to the capacitive reactance? In this case, frequency is increased, so that capacitive reactance will decrease, and if they ask it for current, current will increase. So that this kind of questions, if you know all point to point examples what they are in the NCERT, you can answer very easily in NEET level. So this is another easy question based on Venturi-meter. So just look at this. Venturi-meter works on Bernoulli's principle. So that directly you can mark if you know that statement. And similarly, just look at this. This is again from semiconductor devices. A full wave rectifier circuit consists of two PN junction diodes, a center tap transformer, capacitor, and a load resistance. Which of these components remove the AC ripples from the rectified output? See the rectified output, this is an NCERT line. The rectified output is in the form of a pulses of the shape of half sinusoids. Though it is unidirectional, it does not have a steady value. To get a steady DC output from the pulsating voltage, normally a capacitor is connected across the output terminals. One can also use an inductor in series with RL for the same purpose, so that a capacitor can be used or an inductor can be used. But in this options, we are having only capacitor, so that you can mark that answer if you know that NCERT line. Now just look at this. Magnetic energy stored in an inductor. So that formula is half Li square. So that will be half L is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into 2. So that 2 gets cancelled. This will be 2 square. So 2 gets cancelled. We'll have 8 into 10 power of minus 6 or 8 microjoules. So this is about Gauss-line electrostatics. A direct question is there in our NCERT also, almost based on the same points. Integral E dot ds is 0 over a surface, then the magnitude of electric field on the surface is constant. It's wrong. All the charges must necessarily be inside. Must statement is wrong. Some charges may reside outside also. Must statement is wrong here. That's why this is wrong. The electric field inside the surface is necessarily uniform. That is also wrong. The number of field lines entering the surface must be equal to number of field lines leaving the surface. This must be right. Just now we explained in one question based on Gauss line magnetism also. So if number of field lines entering is equal to number of field lines leaving, definitely net flux linked with that surface will be 0. The same almost as with similar options we are having an example or a question in our NCERT. Just look at this question directly given from this points to ponder in NCERT. Let a wire be suspended from the ceiling and stretched by a weight attached to it at its free end. The longitudinal stress at any point of cross section area of the wire is. Okay. So that you are having direct answer. So it will be W by A. If you look at that statement, in the case of a wire suspended from the ceiling and stretched under the action of weight suspended from the other end, the force exerted by the ceiling on it is equal and opposite to the weight. However, the tension at any cross section A of the wire is just F and it is not 2F. Hence, the tensile stress which is equal to tension per unit area and is equal to F by A. So now just look at this. In a plane electromagnetic wave is traveling in space, the electric field component frequency is given and amplitude is given. Amplitude of the oscillating magnetic field is. So almost a direct question in NCERT with the same values also. So here they just asked for magnetic field. We are having this equation. Velocity of an electromagnetic wave is E by B. As it is traveling in free space, it must be equivalent to speed of light. So that magnetic field will be equal to E by C. So that will be equal to, what is E value given? 48 by 3 into 10 to the power of 8. So that this will be equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. So this is a direct question from NCERT. If you observe that NCERT question that was just given below, the electric field oscillates sinusoidally, but in addition they asked wavelength and they asked average energy density also. So average energy density formula if you will use, you can solve this, and V is equal to F lambda if you use, you can solve this. But for us, they framed this point as question. So this question is based on combination of lenses. We are having our lens makers formula like this. So this first, I can give some numbers. This is first one, this is second one, third one. First one and third one are plano-concave lenses, so that their focal lengths I can identify like this. 1 by F will be equal to, it was given as N2 minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Here N2 is given as 1.6 minus 1 into 1 by infinity minus 1 by 20, because one is plane surface and the other one is a curved surface. So that from this 0.6 by 20 with a minus sign, or From this, focal length will be equal to minus 200 by 6, because I can write the same as minus 6 by 200. So that this is focal length of the first plano concave lens as well as f3 also. And if you look at that, the second lens 1 by f2 will be equal to, it will be n1 minus 1 into, as it is an equiconcave lens, will have 1 by r, convex lens 1 by r plus 1 by r, so that this will be 0.5 into 2 by r. So f2 will be equal to r, that is 20 centimeters. So if you know this, now we can use this formula. So 1 by f will be equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2 plus 1 by f3, that is minus 6 by 200 plus 1 by 20 minus 6 by 200. So if you solve this, you will get that answer as minus 100 centimeters. 1 by f as minus 1 by 100, or that implies f will be minus 100 centimeters. One interesting model based on lens maker's formula from ray optics. Two questions were there based on the same. Just look at this. Two thin lenses having same focal length, but one is convex. For convex lens, focal length will be positive. For concave lens, focal length will be negative. So what is equivalent focal length? 1 by f will be equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2, or that will be 1 by f minus 1 by f, because one is convex and the other one is a concave. So that net focal length, as this is 0, focal length will be infinity. Look at this next question. Calculate the maximum acceleration of a moving car so that the body lying on the floor of the car remains stationary. So that there is a body that is remaining on this horizontal surface. So that they are asking us to find acceleration of the car. It experiences a pseudo force ma in opposite direction. So frictional force will act in this direction, that will be mu mg. So I can equate mu mg with ma, so that mm gets cancelled. A will be equal to mu into g, that is 0.15 into 10, which is 1.5 meter per second square. The same question almost with the same numericals, but they asked it, they just changed it as a car from train, remaining all parameters are same. So that just follow all examples and simple models that are there in NCERT. You can solve those questions if they ask directly or indirectly. Now look at this question. This is from gravitation. That is from Kepler's third law. We are having T square is equal to 4 pi square by Gm into R cube. Our mass we can write like this: 4 pi square by G into density into volume, that will be 4/3 pi R cube into R cube. So that this R cube gets cancelled. This density they just assumed in this question as a D, so that this will be 4 pi gets cancelled. We are having 3 pi by Gd is equal to T square. 3 pi by Gd will be equal to T square. So that is our first option. So if you know that Kepler's laws, then you can answer this question very easily. So now this is based on logic gates. This is a NOT gate. This is another NOT gate which complements the input. So that here we'll get A bar, here we'll get B bar. This is NAND gate. It will take product of the inputs and give the complement. Here if I'll use our Boolean algebraic expressions, we are having two De Morgan laws. If we are having x into y whole bar, that will be x bar plus y bar. So that this will be a bar whole bar plus b bar whole bar. That will be equivalent to a plus b, which is an OR gate. So the same kind of question is there in NCERT exercise. So this is a NAND gate followed by another NAND gate. If both the inputs are joined, this will behave like an AND gate. And this is a NOT gate, this is a NOT gate, and this is a NAND gate. So this is OR gate. So the same question was framed from this part of the question. Now this is from current electricity. They are asking temperature coefficient. So alpha is equal to, we are having this formula R minus R naught in by R naught into delta theta. So here R is given as 6.8 minus R naught, that is at 0 degrees 2, by R naught is 2 into delta theta is 80. So 4.8 by 2 into 80, I can write like this, 48 by 2 into 8 into 10 power of minus 2. So that this will be 3 into 10 to the power of minus 2 degrees inverse. So that this will be your answer. So this question is radius of the innermost orbit of hydrogen atom. So how radius depends on principal quantum number and atomic number means R is equal to R naught into n square by z. What is the radius of third allowed orbit of hydrogen atom? So that will be 5.3 into 10 to the power of minus 11 into n square third orbit. So 9 by z, as it is hydrogen, z value will be 1. So that R value will be 4.77 into 10 to the power of minus 10 meters, or that is 4.77 angstroms. So this is also a closest exercise question. What are the radii of n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3 orbits of hydrogen? So now just look at this question. The impedance of the circuit will be, so as they are asking impedance of the circuit, so that here what is impedance formula means Z is equal to square root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. XL is nothing but omega L, or that will be 2 pi F into L. 2 pi frequency is given as 50 hertz and L is given as 50 by pi millihenry, that means into 10 power of minus 3 milli means, so that this will lead to 5 ohm. And similarly XC 1 by omega C, that is 1 by 2 pi FC, or that will be 1 by 2 pi into F is 50 hertz and C is given as 10 cube by pi into 10 to the power of minus 6, so that this pi gets cancelled. If you suitably solve this, you will get this as 10 ohm. So XL minus XC will be, of course it is minus 5, but Z will be square root of R square, that is 10 square plus 5 square, which is square root of 125, or that will be 5 root 5 ohm. So this will be your answer. So these are the questions. Nearly I discussed around 23 questions out of 50 questions in 2023 NEET paper. 23 questions are directly framed from NCERT Either they related with the direct examples or some concept related to that NCERT was given. So utilize this properly for this coming NEET exam, that is on May 5th, 2024. Or else if you are preparing for 2025 NEET, just once revise or once plan while you are preparing for your NEET exam. Just review all the examples as well as exercise questions which are there in the NCERT. So that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed this. Please do subscribe to continue this.